The Bengals didn't win, but it was a great night for the orange and black. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com, a Sports Illustrated site, and we're here at Paycor Stadium where the Bengals, they lost. And yet, and maybe you can hear behind me, fans are happy. You should be happy if you're a Bengals fan, and really everyone should be happy if you're rooting for Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow looked the part tonight. Pre-game, whether it was going through his warm-ups, and I posted a bunch of video at BengalsTalk.com, and he certainly looked the part on the field in his return to action for the first time since November. Look at that catch behind me. That's what Tee Higgins looked like on the touchdown from Joe Burrow. Actually, it was a catch and run. But the point remains, Joe Burrow looked awesome tonight. And that, regardless of what else happened, and there was some good and there was some bad in a 17-14 loss to the Buccaneers, is a huge, huge win for the Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow went 5 for 7, 51 yards, had a 23-yard pass to Andre Yosevich on third down. They were 2 for 2 on third down. Had a deep ball to Tee Higgins that shoulda, coulda, woulda been complete, and it was just a really good play by the defensive back. He got inside Tee Higgins' arm as Higgins had it, and Higgins was coming down with it, and that's what happens. Not a big deal at all. I thought T looked really good tonight too, and you saw it on the catch and run. And so whether it's Joe Burrow, Tee Higgins, the Bengals offensive starters, I think everyone looked exactly how you had hoped. And you think about it, a 12-play, 73-yard drive, a drive that had 4 plays under center, a drive that had 4 runs, was it? It was 4 runs to Chase Burrow. No, 5. He had 5 runs for 10 yards by the end. His long was 6, but they were mixing and matching there. It was not just drop back pass. It was not just shotgun. It was not just empty. It was a mixture, and I think you will see more and more of that. They platooned the tight ends. I think that's something they'll see, and that we'll see as well. But overall, I look at this team and what they were hoping to get out of tonight, and it revolves around Joe Burrow. My What to Watch For video was all about Joe Burrow. Why? Because that's what tonight was about. As much as it was about all of the other stuff that I'm about to talk about, it was how does Joe Burrow look? We knew he was only going to get a drive. We knew he was going to be going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers backups. Doesn't matter. How do you look? And the result is as good as it could be. Now, afterwards he said, hey, I got some things to work on. Fine. He didn't talk long. He seemed like he wanted to get the hell out of here, which I think a lot of people felt that way. It's 11 at night as I record this. And so, Joe, check that box. Good to go. Does he need to play in the preseason again? He said, ask Zach, and they'll have to discuss it. I would bet no, that he won't play in the preseason again. You have joint practice with the Bears coming up and then joint practice with the Colts after that. You check the box that you needed to check tonight, at least in my opinion. Now, for the rest of the team, there's a lot to discuss. First off, Amarius Mims looks the part as a pass blocker, and it translated from practice to the game. I thought Joe Burrow had plenty of time. I thought the offense ran really well. And outside of the screenplay where there was a free runner, a blitz, and that's a miscommunication, not an offensive line problem, no one really got near Burrow, and Burrow clocked that one, wasn't sacked. So as I kicked the camera there. But overall, I thought Mims played well. I thought the offensive line looked good. First-team offensive line, 12-play drive. You check that box. You really like that. Zach Moss, where was he? He's sick, so that's why he wasn't around. I know some people tweeted me during the game, where's Zach Moss? Where's Zach Moss? We asked afterwards. And then one really good injury update, and I'm so excited. It's really happy for Charlie. I didn't get to talk to him after the game. But Charlie Jones, week to week, dealing with a knee injury, bumped knees. I'm sure he's dealing maybe with a bone bruise, something like that, but avoided serious injury, had a sleeve on that right knee throughout the day, was walking here pregame, looked fine, and then went from pregame over to the locker room to the sideline, was standing on the sideline throughout the game. So Charlie Jones is going to be okay, which is really, really big news for him and big news for this team. Other things. Let's get to some of the bad. Jackson Carman, I'm not sure Jackson Carman is the best Jackson in the offensive line room. And boy, oh boy, is he on the roster bubble. 3 holding penalties, a false start. 79 is on the bubble. I think Jackson Kirkland had a really good night on the interior. Matt Lee had some good snaps late in the game. And that's what's so weird about Carman, is it wasn't like he was false starting or holding against first-team defenders. This was late in the game, and he was still getting called for penalties. So I would say his stock is down after tonight. I would say Dax Hill, stock up. And I said this. I didn't rule out the cornerback battle. You know, DJ Turner had the lead coming into today. I think that's realistic to say and reasonable to say. I didn't rule out the idea that Hill could make it a competition and push. And today he had 3 pass breakups, did give up a pass where he didn't get his head around in time, nearly had an interception, was this close to an interception. But I thought that he looked good, and he's going to get tested again this week. I caught up with him one-on-one. You will see that interview one-on-one with Dax Hill on Enter the Jungle Tuesday night at 8 Eastern right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. But overall, I think that that cornerback battle, you feel pretty darn good about it because it's Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, and then Dax Hill tonight played well. You know who else played well? Josh Newton, his first career interception. The thing that stood out to me wasn't the fact that he got the interception. It's when I went into the locker room and asked him, and this video is right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I asked him, what goes through your mind after you get your first NFL interception? His quote, first 3 words, get another one. And then he attributed it to his teammates and the coaches and everyone that has that mindset, but he clearly has that mindset, and that's huge. Coaching staff loves him, and he's played at a high level in camp, and it's translated to the field. Other quick notes, I thought Jermaine Burton, not shocked that it took him a while to get in the game. I was expecting that. And he got in the game in the third quarter a little bit, but played primarily in the fourth quarter. So not shocked by that. I thought he'd play at least a half. So maybe a little less playing time than I thought. But what is really nice, and we'll probably hit on this on Enter the Jungle this week too, Jermaine Burton, if he can give them some deep ball presence, that complements what Andre Yosevach does, and Charlie Jones does, and Jamar Chase, and Tee Higgins. He can complement those guys this year. They don't need him to be Jamar. They don't need him to be T. They don't need him to be Tyler Boyd. They have these guys that can all do different things. Obviously, Boyd isn't in town, but Yoshi can handle some of that. Trenton Irwin can handle some of that. He had a nice catch, by the way, from Joe Burrow on the opening drive. And so it can be made up by multiple guys, but he can do something that they aren't as good at. And whether it was the double move for the touchdown, and he did the snow angel back here, and he discussed that. Check out our video. It's Josh Newton and Jermaine Burton discussing their rookie debuts for the Bengals. Just really good stuff. 2 dudes that are working really hard, trying to make an impact, and could certainly be a factor this year. Obviously, we're a factor tonight. So there was a lot of bad, I would say, right? The offense, the second-team offense struggled. They weren't moving the ball. I thought Matt Lee comes in at center. Logan Woodside comes in at quarterback, and they get things going a little bit. Jermaine Burton, stock up. And the defensive line, I think a lot of people are going to be down on the defensive line, and it looked ugly for a drive there. But overall, the defense was pretty darn good tonight. And I would say that. Now, late in the fourth quarter, you give up that touchdown. You get called for a pass interference in the end zone. That can't happen, okay? I get that. But I think overall, first-team defense forced them 3 and out, and the offense really didn't move the ball after that. And so the defense was on the field a decent amount. So overall, I think it was a successful night for the Bengals. Why? Well, it begins and ends with Joe Burrow. And that's what we're going to do right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Please hit that subscribe button. Check out Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, the locker room interviews, whether it's Jermaine Burton and Josh Newton, or everything we have coming for you this week. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching. That's the whistle. I didn't beat the buzzer. Thanks for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.